You know, we usually think of doctors as our heroes, right? They swoop in, save the day, and make us better. But what if they make the wrong call that almost cost you your life? That's exactly what happened to this innocent girl back in 2023. She was rushed to the emergency department with all the red flags. She had a high temperature, fast heart rate, leg pain, drowsiness, and vomiting. But the doctors did not take her case seriously and sent her home. The sad news is that just a few hours later, that poor girl lost all 4 of her limbs. So how did it come to this? And was the doctor even held accountable? Let's find out. It was just a regular day in 2023 for a young girl from Surrey. We will call her Lily, since her family has not revealed her identity to the public. Lily was like any other kid. She was full of energy, always on the go, and loving life. But one day, everything changed. Lily started feeling really sick. Suddenly, she had a high fever, her heart started racing, her legs started hurting, and she became super drowsy. Plus, she could not stop throwing up. Her parents understandably freaked out, so they rushed her to the emergency department at Frimley Park Hospital. They knew something was not right. Now, when you are that sick, you would expect the doctors to treat you right away, admit the patient, and give them all the care and medication they need. But here is what they did wrong. Despite all those alarming symptoms, which are the classic signs of something serious like meningitis or sepsis, the doctor said it was just something minor. They prescribed some paracetamol and sent her home. They said to the parents that she was fine, but she definitely was not. After just a few hours, Lily's condition worsened. Her parents, who were already on edge, noticed a rash spreading across her body, and her fever was not coming down. They panicked and rushed her back to A&E, and this time, things were even worse. Finally, the doctors caught on. They diagnosed her with meningococcal sepsis. Sepsis is a kind of life-threatening infection. In this condition, your body has an extreme reaction to an infection. In fact, in this condition, your body just wants to kill the viral bodies even if it comes at the expense of killing you. At this point, Lily was in serious danger. She had been transferred to the pediatric intensive care unit at a nearby hospital. It was a parent's worst nightmare unfolding right in front of her parents. In the ICU, Lily was fighting for her life. The infection had spread rapidly, and she was facing multi-organ failure. Doctors scrambled to save her. They performed several procedures, including skin grafts, but the damage was already done. The infection had taken its toll, and to save her life, they had to amputate her limbs, both legs above the knees and both arms above the elbows. It was so heartbreaking since she was just a child. Her parents were devastated, because one day her sweet little child was with them healthy and happy, and the next, she had lost all 4 limbs. They did everything right, took her to the hospital when they noticed something was wrong, but the system failed them. So, how did it come to this? Well, it turns out the hospital admitted it was their fault. They confessed in court that if they had treated Lily urgently from the start, she could have avoided all of this. They admitted that her care fell below the standard she deserved. The parents were infuriated. They trusted the hospital to take care of their daughter, but instead, she ended up with life-changing injuries because of a wrong call. You would be angry too, wouldn't you? The family was not going to let this slide. They brought a claim against Frimley Health NHS Foundation Trust. They argued that if the hospital had just done its job, Lily would still have her limbs. The case went to the High Court in London, and guess what? The trust admitted liability. They knew they messed up big time. Judge Casper Glynn, KC, who was overseeing this case, approved a settlement of around 39 million euros. That's a huge amount, but no amount of money can replace what Lily lost. The settlement is structured partly as a lump sum, and the rest is in annual payments to ensure that Lily is taken care of for the rest of her life. The judge said that the money definitely cannot bring back the old life for Lily, but with it, she can surely have a secure future. The hospital's chief executive, Neil Dardis, wrote a letter to Lily's parents apologizing for the substandard care she received. He admitted she should never have been sent home that first time. It's nice to hear an apology, but it does not erase the pain and suffering Lily and her family have gone through. The family's lawyer was the one who made this win possible for Lily's family. She said Lily's injuries were completely avoidable. All the red flags for meningitis and sepsis were right there, clear as day, but the doctors missed them. All they cared about was following protocols, where they should have been protecting patients' lives. Now, Lily's life is forever changed. She has to learn to adapt to a new way of living, facing challenges that no child should ever have to endure. But let me tell you, Lily is a fighter. She is brave, determined, and with the support of her family, she's going to make the most out of her life despite what happened. If you think this is the first time something like this has happened, think again. In fact, a similar case also happened last year. This time, the girl was Natalia Manhertz, a bright and athletic high school junior from Sharpsburg. It was May 2023, and life was pretty typical for Natalia, who attended Trinity Christian School, but then she developed a sore throat, and everything changed. After a weekend of feeling lousy, she missed school on Monday. By Tuesday, she felt off but decided to go tough it out and head back. That day, she felt like she was on the brink of passing out, so she asked a friend to drop her off at the school's front door. As soon as she walked in, her principal took one look at her and knew something wasn't right. Natalia was sent straight to the nurse's office. The school nurse called Natalia's mom and suggested they head to urgent care. It seemed like a good move at the time, but here is where the first misstep happened. At urgent care, they diagnosed her with a migraine and sent her home. If only it were that simple. A few hours later, Natalia woke up from a nap feeling even worse. Her head was pounding, she had a bloody nose, and her entire body was in pain. Her mom panicked and rushed her to the local hospital's emergency room. That's when it got scary for the family. At the ER, Natalia was diagnosed with strep throat, but there was more, much more. The medical staff discovered her organs were failing. Her mom felt like the world was spinning in front of her. Her daughter, whom she thought was just suffering from a sore throat, was in a life or death situation. She needed a blood transfusion and was quickly life-flighted to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Eggleston Hospital. Once there, the doctors gave another piece of bad news. They said Natalia had Group A strep and septic shock. Group A strep is a type of bacteria that often causes mild infections like strep throat. However, if it spreads into the bloodstream, it can become very serious. And then, septic shock happens when an infection, like Group A strep, triggers an extreme response in the body. It causes dangerously low blood pressure and can lead to organ failure. Natalia's health was hanging by a thread. Soon after arriving, she went into cardiac arrest. Her mom had to make the agonizing decision to allow the doctors to put her on an ECMO machine. It is a device that keeps the heart and lungs functioning. It is a terrifying choice, but without it, Natalia would not survive. Doctors warned that she could be on this machine for months. Thankfully, after 5 days, they were able to take her off. While the machine saved her life, it came with a devastating consequence. Her limbs suffered from a lack of blood flow, leaving them cold and unresponsive. For a 5'10" tennis player, this was shattering news. Natalia found out that her hands would be amputated up to her forearms. Her legs would also need amputation, the right one below the knee and the left one above it. Natalia's beautiful long black hair had also fallen out due to the intense medication, so she had to wear a wig too. Just days later, on July 14th, Natalia faced her second surgery. Both operations went as planned, but she was not out of the woods yet. She experienced intense pain in her left leg, including phantom pain, where it feels like the amputated limb is still there. It is a brutal reminder of what she has lost. Then, Dr. Banzel, who is a specialist in acute and chronic pain, thought of a solution: a nerve stimulator. This device works by placing wires next to the nerves, which helps retrain the pain signals in the leg and brain. The team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta went above and beyond, getting approval for this treatment within a week. Natalia was the first young person to try it, and it worked wonders in alleviating her pain. It was a small win for the family. Afterward, Natalia was transferred to the Scottish Rite Hospital for rehabilitation. Her journey to recovery was long and challenging, but she showed incredible resilience. She was finally released on October 4th, a full 5 months after her initial symptoms appeared. Throughout all of this, Natalia and her mom have been vocal advocates for sepsis awareness. They believe the Centers for Disease Control is not doing enough to educate people, especially in schools, and they are right. Awareness is important because early diagnosis can save lives. Despite everything, Natalia is determined to pursue her dreams. She still plans to attend college, and she is not letting anything hold her back. Her strength and courage are truly inspiring. What do you think government and health authorities should do to avoid tragedies like these? Share your opinions with us in the comments below. Before you go, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more stories. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.